Hi, this is Casey from KK Fitness Training, and I'm going to talk to you today about intermittent fasting. There's a lot of different information out there about it, whether it's good for you or bad for you. Just kind of want to set the record straight and give you some of the information that I have gotten. Most of it comes from the Faster Way, which has been scientifically proven to be a very successful way to lose fat and gain muscle and overall increase your health. So, intermittent fasting. Everybody fasts to a degree because you sleep, right? So intermittent fasting is most people do an 8 to 10 hour fast from the time they ate their last meal to the time they eat their next one. The optimal is 12 to 16 hours. So if you can fast for 12 at a minimum up to 16, you're going to get bigger health results. And I'll talk about that in a second. There's also ways of doing it where you fast for 2 full days and you eat for 5, alternate day fasting. Those are other strategies you can implement, but it can lead to more muscle loss than muscle gain, and we're looking to gain muscle to burn fat. Whole food nutrition is the primary focus, and especially getting in that protein. So if you're eating a 5-2 diet or alternate day or even 1 meal a day fasting, you're probably not getting the protein in that you are. You're eating what you normally would eat, which is high fat, high carb, or you're not getting in enough food overall to meet your basal metabolic rate. And that is what your body burns on a day that you're doing nothing. If you laid in bed and you did not a thing, that is how many calories your body would still burn. And that is the amount of calories you want to minimum take in each day. And it is not 1,200 calories. I'm telling you that right now. Muscle is our key to longevity. So you want to live longer, you want to live a healthier life, you're going to need some muscle on that skeletal frame. And most science supports the easiest it's the most scientifically backed, intermittent fasting is, and it is also the easiest to be implemented into your life because you're really just changing up when you start eating and when you finish eating. So I do a 16-8. It is what works best for me, and no matter what you do, a 12-12, 16-8, you got to figure out what's going to work in your life and with your busyness of our hectic schedules. When you look at studies for intermittent fasting, the weight loss shots, etc., just be mindful of where they're getting their research. Even as I'm talking about intermittent fasting and the studies to back it, look at the research, do your own studies, figure out what is best for you. Health habits, medications, sometimes they don't take those factors into play whenever they're asking these questions. And sometimes they're a very small pool of studying that they're doing. They're just getting a small part of the population, not the overall. And, you know, if they're not changing their habits and they're just doing intermittent fasting, they're still eating the junk, then that's going to change how the participants' results vary as well. It's about what you eat in that feeding window. So you want to make sure you're getting in. Protein is the number one key. It is so important. And then your carbs and your fats. They help with your hormone health. They help you grow muscle, burn fat. They help give you energy for the day. And we all know when you've kind of gone off the rails and eaten junky, you kind of feel a little off. Your fingers may be swollen. Your joints may hurt more. Just whole food nutrition and trying to eat the best you can in that feeding window. And going to talk about autophagy and autophagy healing. And that is just the cellular repair of your cells. So when you get to that fasted state, your body is working on repairing and recycling those cells that have been damaged or are dying to make them be more efficient. And so fasting can help you as well with your insulin healing and sensitivity, making sure that you are not always in a spiked state because you're eating and digesting, and even gene expression. So for prevention of diseases and longevity in life is great results of intermittent fasting, not just for fat loss. And even if you don't change your diet, which I highly recommend, you can see great benefits to intermittent fasting. And when you add the whole food component into it, you're going to see major fat loss, more muscle gains, and again, that overall feeling of health and wellness. So Find the 16-8 that works best for you. So maybe that you eat at 6 in the morning until about 2 in the afternoon, or you break your fast at 11 and eat all the way up until 7. So really you want your last bite to be in that feeding window. Don't start eating at 7, but you finish eating at 7. And if you can work out in the beginning of the fast or midway, you're going to see a greater result of the fat loss because your body's pulling into those glycogen stores in the muscles, depleting those, and then what's it got to burn for energy? It's going to burn fat. And we love it when fat just starts to melt off. And so once in a while, you can throw in a 24-hour fast, but make sure if you're going to do that, like it is from the time you eat the last bite at dinner, and that's when you start eating dinner the next night. Or if you're a person who can eat breakfast and then fast the rest of the day and then eat breakfast the next morning, that works as well. The good thing is, I mean, you're sleeping for some of that, so it's not going to seem so terribly bad when you think about 24 hours. I used to think about a 24-hour fast as I ate yesterday, I'm not eating anything today, and I'll eat something tomorrow. That is more than a 24-hour fast. And those have their places as well. But talk to your doctor before doing any of those. Really look into see what's going to be best for you, and know that those 24-hour fasts, once in a while, I usually do one about once a month, can be really great on the body, but we don't want to put the body into stress mode. And the body is either fed or it's fasted. So when you eat, your body has to digest it, and that spikes your insulin, and it's harder to burn fat. Your body's using a lot of that energy stores for your brain and nervous system, and then it stores the rest of it. So when we overeat, the excess gets stored into fat. And then if you're fasted, which is around that 8 to 12 hour after digestion, remember, it takes your body a little bit of time to digest. That's why we say it's really good to do a minimum of a 12-hour fast, because that's going to help get you past that digestion state and into the autophagy. And it can lower your insulin levels, and your body will then use the fat for energy because it doesn't have those glycogen stores in the muscles anymore. We aren't looking for low calories either. Again, that 1,200 calorie range is not where you want to be. You want to be at what your BMR, or basal metabolic rate, is, and then using your movement as your deficit. So we're not looking for taking the body into starvation mode. We're just looking for moving our bodies more so we create a bigger deficit. It takes 3,500 calories to lose a pound. And so if your deficit is 500 calories a day because you went for a run, a walk, you did some exercise, you just moved throughout your day, then it's going to take you a week to burn off that 1 pound. And so the greater the deficit, the more you move, the better. But again, you don't want to go too low in the calorie count, because then your body's not getting what it needs. And then opposite effect, it stores the fat because it doesn't know when it's going to eat again, and it's not getting enough to sustain it long term. That's going to really affect your metabolism, and then you're going to have to do a whole metabolism reset because your body isn't operating at peak efficiency because you have just tanked it by not eating enough calories long term. Benefits to intermittent fasting include improving your hormone health, your skeletal muscle mass goes up, your glucose levels, stores all the sugars and stuff in your body, goes down, your insulin resistance can increase, your body will break down fat more efficiently, and your growth hormone increases as well. So metabolism is directly related to muscle mass. We love anything that's going to create more muscle. And it's not about being bulky or being huge, but utilizing those muscles, even the long, lean muscles with Pilates and bar, and just building up that strength train to really help your metabolism, which then burns more fat. It all comes back to that burning more fat. When the body has time to repair the muscle after digestion, your muscle mass grows. So more muscle, burns more fat. Working out, even while fasted, has its benefits because the body gets to autophagy even faster. So your maximum hormone levels, you increase your metabolism rate, which is all essential for cell survival and function. And then your body then recycles the old cells into fully functioning cell parts, and make sure that you are rejuvenating. So then we look younger, we feel better, our hair's not falling out, all those things, just by doing a little bit of intermittent fasting and getting in a good workout. And the longer you fast, the more you can increase that autophagy. But again, talk to your doctor or a health professional to find out what's going to be best for you. And don't do it for more than a few days. Make sure that you're still at your peak optimal self, and know that some of the weight you lose is just going to be your body getting rid of the stuff that's in the intestines and in the bladder and all of that. So you're really getting rid of a lot of that. So if you're just using the scale and you're not using measurements or a body fat calculator of some sort, you are going to think you're losing a lot more weight when it's not necessarily fat that you're losing. So from the Fast Away, the science behind intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting encourages the body to burn fat while maintaining lean muscle mass. But because you're mixing a higher calorie consumption with a lower calorie consumption periods, you don't get as hungry when you're not eating. Unlike just restricting calories, intermittent fasting does not lower the body's basal metabolic rate long term. In fact, it increases it. This makes intermittent fasting an incredibly effective weight loss strategy, even for obese people. And again, back to those studies. Many studies have shown that intermittent fasting to be more effective for weight loss than just calorie restriction alone. And not only that, but intermittent fasting is better at helping people maintain lean muscle mass than diets that just restrict the calories. Again, we don't want the calories to get too low because then your body will burn muscle because it doesn't want to have to go through its fat stores. And even with that, you're making sure that you're eating whole food nutrition during those feeding windows to get the optimal nutrition in. You're getting in enough protein, you're getting in enough healthy carbs and healthy fats. And so how does intermittent fasting kind of work? Well, after you eat, your body works hard to digest your meal. And as you break down your meal in your digestive tract, nutrients are released into your bloodstream. That's when insulin and all those things tend to spike. That means your body has excess fuel, and that excess fuel gets stored as fat when you overeat consistently. So when you fast, your body has to rely on those energy stores by burning fat and glycogen. So through intermittent fasting, you train your body to burn fat instead of storing it. And intermittent fasting affects the body's hunger hormones. So leptin, which is the one that helps keep you full and satisfied, ghrelin, which is the one that makes you hungry, and insulin, which is all that sugar and carb intake. Some studies have even showed that intermittent fasting may positively impact the hypothalamus, which is important for proper hormone function. So intermittent fasting can help you regulate those hormones. If you have autoimmune diseases, things like that, it can help keep those under control if you really need them. But again, talk to your healthcare professional and know what is best for you. And if you have any other questions about intermittent fasting, you know where to reach me.